Hello, everyone, and welcome to UC Berkeley in this virtual space. We are so excited to have you here from wherever you are joining us in the world. We are excited to have you here joining us in this virtual space. We are so excited to talk about UC Berkeley and get you excited about either coming to campus as a newly admitted student or just maybe learning more about campus as a prospective student or just someone who's interested. All are welcome on this virtual campus visit. With that, we will move forward to go over some logistics. But first, we have a poll. We want to know, what type of visitor are you? So that poll is going to pop up and we will open it and have some time to hear about what type of visitor you are. Perfect. Okay, you should see that poll right now. So fill that out, please. Let us know what type of visitor you are. We'll have it open for a little bit so we can kind of get a gauge on everyone who is with us today. As these numbers are coming in, we have about 45 to 50% are admitted students or family members, and that other half is majority high school students or family members, with a few who are waitlisted and a few who are community college students. So very exciting. We will end that poll right now and then share the results with you all so you can all see that. So yeah, we've got a pretty even split, about 50% admitted students, a few waitlisted students, fingers crossed for y'all that you will get off that waitlist, and then some community college students, so maybe hopeful transfer students, and then a few high school students. So very exciting. But that will move forward and go over logistics of today's presentation. So this is a 45-minute presentation. We'll have a Q&A feature in the bottom. So in the bottom of your Zoom room, you can see the Q&A feature. Type some questions in there, and we will be answering that throughout the entire question. We've got a bunch of ambassadors on the back end. We'll have 2 more interactive polls, so stay on the lookout for those. If you would like to see another virtual visit recording, those are available on our website and our YouTube. We'll talk a little bit more about that at the end. So if you want to see another virtual tour or see this one again. This is going to be a campus overview. It's going to provide student perspectives. There's no admissions or financial aid info. Those are both separate separate presentations, and we will put links to that at the end. And then we're going to end with a live Q&A. So you can ask our 2 live tour guides questions and get those answered live for you. But also that Q&A feature in the bottom is available to you throughout the entire virtual visit. And with that, I will hand it over to our amazing tour guides to get us started.
Alrighty, everyone. Thanks, Jordan, for that lovely introduction. My name is Ethan. I'll be one of your 2 campus ambassadors guiding you through this virtual visit. My pronouns are he, him, and él, and I am originally from Spring Valley, California, which is in East County, San Diego. So shout out to all my San Diegans. I'm in my 4th year here at the university, and I'm actually graduating this upcoming semester, which is super exciting to say. 4 years have definitely flown by, and I'm excited to share a lot about my experiences with you all in this virtual space. I am a double major in ethnic studies and educational sciences, and I also have a minor in dance performance studies. Outside of my involvement as a campus ambassador, I'm involved with a new club on campus called Aspiring Educators and Student Affairs Professionals, or ASAP, which are students that are either interested in entering the field of education or studying the field of educational sciences, and they're really interested in just maybe learning a bit more about like the different careers within education. I also work for our Department of Residential Life as a residential assistant. I've worked as an RA for my past 3 years here at UC Berkeley. I'm also involved with a couple other organizations on campus, one called Frontera at Berkeley, which researches border policy initiatives along the US-Mexico border, and also the National Residence Hall Honorary. That's just a little bit about me. I'm super excited to share a little bit more about myself and get to know all of you also throughout this virtual space. I'm going to pass it to my amazing co-guide Samiksha to introduce herself.
Okay, thank you, Ethan. Hi, everyone. My name is Samiksha, and I'm a first year here at UC Berkeley, and I'm majoring in data science. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm from Hayward, California, so shout out if you're from the East Bay. Aside from being a campus ambassador and giving virtual and physical tours just like this to prospective students, tourists, etc., I'm also involved in a couple of on-campus organizations, kind of like Ethan mentioned. So I'm part of CS Kickstart, which is an on-campus organization focused on introducing more women to computer science and uplifting women in STEM because we are underrepresented in engineering, math, computer science, all of those fields. I'm also part of Berkeley A Nova, which is another on-campus organization that does CS or computer science mentorship with local middle school and high school students. I also tutor for an introductory data science course at Cal called Data 8. It's super fun, and beyond just data science majors, it's a place where a bunch of other majors like molecular and cellular biology, public health, etc., also learn about data and analytics and data science.
Alrighty, folks, now you got to know a little bit about us. So here is our agenda for today. So this is going to be kind of an overview of our university from our own perspective, Samiksha and myself as students and student ambassadors for the university. And so a couple of the key topics that we will be covering today include history and culture, academics, housing and dining, health and safety, student resources, student life, athletics, and then closing off with libraries and research before we transition into our live Q&A. The photo on your right is actually of our West Crescent entrance, which is one of the main entrances on campus. This entrance actually faces downtown Berkeley.
Okay, so going into an overview of our campus history, UC Berkeley was founded in 1868 and we were the first University of California campus. So all of the other UCs are sort of like satellite or sister schools to us, so like UCLA, UC Davis, all of that. We were the original UC. With the establishment of UC Berkeley came the establishment of the UC system, which is awesome. That's the reason why we go by Cal for mainly our athletics. All the other UCs will just use their full name, but we get to go by the name Cal or California. So you might hear us referred to as the Cal Bears, or some people say go Cal, go Bears, all of that. And then when it comes to the academics and research side of things, we usually go by Berkeley or UC Berkeley. And I sort of mentioned this, but our mascot is the Golden Bears. You can see in the top left corner, in that top left picture, that's our mascot, Oski. He's a student in a bear suit that sort of walks around campus, usually when there's big events or rallies and things like that, before football games and all of that. He loves taking pictures with people. He loves getting people hyped and super happy and joyous on campus. And again, you can always see him around our rally committee, around our cheerleaders, and whenever we have super big events, especially during like move-in and things like that. When it comes to our student body for fall 2024, we had about 33,000 undergraduates, a little bit over that, and approximately 12,800 graduate students. That's a lot of students, but we'll talk about some more resources that all students get access to later on. A lot of folks that I take on like my physical tours are a bit intimidated by that large student body, but again, we have a bunch of resources available for students on campus, and I think our big student body is something that makes us super unique. A couple of campus landmarks that we have in our photos as well. You can see this sort of like GIF or like panoramic view of the Campanile. That's our clock tower on campus, the second largest clock and bell tower in the world, standing at about 307 feet or about 96 meters, which is awesome. There's also South Hall in the bottom left corner. It's the oldest building on campus, built when we moved to the Berkeley campus in around 1873. Then we have Sather Gate, which is at the south entrance of our campus. If you ever visit us in person, this is a great photo op. And if you've seen Monsters University, the campus and the gate that you see in that movie is also inspired by Sather Gate.
Awesome. Thanks for that really great overview of our history, Samiksha. Now we're going to move into a little bit about our culture here at UC Berkeley. So one of the best things to know about our campus, one of the most prominent things you should know, is that we are a university of change makers. UC Berkeley, with it being the first University of California, is a campus that has a lot of pioneers. We are students that are very involved with activism and also free speech. For example, the free speech movement, which is actually a Berkeley student-led movement that happened on our campus late 1960s, early 1970s, actually allowed for college students around the United States to speak freely on their college campuses as well. That was incited by a student named Mario Savio alongside two other student activists, Bettina Apotheker, who's actually now a professor of gender women's studies at UC Santa Cruz, and Jackie Goldberg. These three students were actually graduate students at the university at the time and helped lead this key movement to allow all students the right to freely express themselves here on the Berkeley campus, but also all across the UC system and beyond. We are some of the most passionate and involved students as well within kind of like what we're known as on our campus as well. We have a huge also culture about entrepreneurship. Actually, UC Berkeley is actually the UC with the most amount of startups that are actually founded here on the campus as well. One example that really comes to mind is actually Snack Pass, which is actually an app that Berkeley students can actually use to go get food in local restaurants as well. And that was actually started by Berkeley students. And also with research and innovation here on campus, we have a lot of students and a lot of professors and faculty that make a really great breakthroughs in their field as well, and being able to really share that with the larger global community too, both in and outside of Berkeley. With it regarding our community as well, we're also very spirited campus here. We have a lot of campus pride. You see at the bottom right picture, that is actually our UC Rally Committee. And our UC Rally Committee is in charge of hosting all the rallies that we have on Sprout Plaza, but also during our home football and basketball games. They do a lot of different things. Like I know one of my friends knows how to shoot a cannon. So every single touchdown of every single home football game, they shoot a cannon to represent like we got a touchdown, and you can get certified as a pyrotechnic and learn how to shoot the cannon, which is pretty cool. A couple other things as well is that we are also a really diverse campus as well, and also one that's highly collaborative. That's something I personally really like about coming to UC Berkeley, especially as I think the only person in my graduating high school class to come to Cal. I was really worried about not being able to make new friends and just kind of being alone. But I think something that really struck me a chord when I first started here was how welcoming and opening people are to new folks here on this campus, and I got to meet some of my lifelong friends. So definitely will say UC Berkeley is a campus that is not only one that's really collaborative in nature, but also one that's very inspiring and empowered to make change in the community.
Okay, thank you so much, Ethan, for going over some of our campus culture as well. We're going to be covering our undergraduate colleges now, but before we get started with that, maybe you could answer this poll that asks, what are you interested in? If there's anything in particular that you're interested in studying. So that should pop up soon. And while we're waiting for that to pop up, let's go over our undergraduate colleges really quickly. And there's that poll. But first off, we have the College of Letters and Science. Then there's the Rouser College of Natural Resources. There's the College of Environmental Design. There's the College of Chemistry, College of Engineering, and our newest college, the College of Computing, Data Science, and Society. And quick note, there's also undergraduate offerings from the Haas School of Business and School of Education. And I believe Ethan is getting a degree in education or educational sciences from that school as well. So here are the sort of responses from that poll. It seems like a large portion of folks are interested in engineering and biological sciences, some folks interested in chemistry, environmental sciences. There seems to be like a really broad spectrum of folks. That's so awesome to see. So many folks interested in the social sciences like poli-sci, psychology. There's a few folks interested in arts and humanities, physical science, which is awesome to see. Architecture and city planning, business, we have a great business program, and some folks are unsure or that's not applicable for them, totally fine. A lot of students decide to switch around their majors or they come in undeclared and then they decide later on. But I think we're going to get started with our College of Letters and Science then.
Yes, awesome. So going into our first undergraduate college, which is actually our largest undergraduate college here on the Berkeley campus, the College of Letters and Sciences is actually my primary college. As Samiksha mentioned, I'm earning a degree not only within the College of Letters and Science, but also in our School of Education, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But our College of Letters and Science is roughly 3/4 of undergrads here on this campus. So majority of the majors here at the UC Berkeley campus are housed within the College of Letters and Science. It is what we kind of call our more liberal arts college here at the university, because it has over 65 different majors and really provides students with a wide, broad kind of education. For example, like a lot of students in this college can major in economics, molecular and cellular biology, or MCB. Jordan, our moderator today, is actually in the molecular and cell biology major. There's political science, sociology, applied math, cognitive science, legal studies, English, and so many more majors that you can really dive into. A couple other things as well is that this college is, as I mentioned, kind of the largest college, and so we are also this college is a leader in research, but also in a couple of other fields as well with the innovation aspect of our university too. If you look at the bottom right as well, you'll see Dwinell Hall that serves as the main building for the College of Letters and Science and houses the College of Letters and Science advising department. So within this college, there are two levels of advising. There is the college level advising for all students. So any student, regardless of their major, can go there that are within this college. And then we have our major advisors. And so every major within the College of Letters and Science has either one or two advisors that students can go to for major specific questions. And Dwinell Hall also houses other campus departments such as theater, dance, performance studies, which is actually what I'm involved with as well. Also houses foreign languages, art history, and so many other departments as well.
Okay, awesome. So, talking about the Rouser College of Natural Resources, it is one of our founding colleges. When the university was first established, it was the College of Agriculture. We were a land grant institution, which means we were required by law to offer courses in things, again, like agriculture, mining, metallurgy, military instruction, and all of that. It has 9 majors, including molecular and environmental biology, society and environment, environmental economics and policy, conservation resource studies, genetics and plant biology, and more. I think what's really awesome about Rouser is that there's such a wide variety of different majors that are offered, but they all sort of tie back to the environment and sustainability and all of that stuff. I've met folks in Rouser who are environmental economics and policy majors and are really interested in pre-law, as well as folks who are in like molecular and environmental biology who are more interested in like pre-med. And there's some other folks who are interested in environmental consulting and things like that. So I really like that Rouser has sort of this like, again, the sort of central theme with the environment, but again, the majors are super broad. There's so many things that you can do with them. And yeah, a lot of folks on campus are really dedicated to sustainability and all of that stuff. We use a lot of like compostable like plates, forks, spoons, all of that on campus that you'll see at our on-campus eateries as well. But yeah.
All right, and moving on from the College of Natural Resources, Rouser College of Natural Resources, we have our College of Environmental Design. This is actually one of our smallest undergraduate colleges on campus, which roughly has like 650 students, and actually kind of under 1,000 students combined with graduate students. And there are only 4 majors housed within this college. This includes architecture, landscape architecture, urban studies, and sustainable environmental design. The main building for this college is the Bauer Worcester Hall, which is located, if you look at that video from the bottom right, that's actually of the tower that's within Bauer Worcester Hall, and it's modeled after a brutalistic architectural style. If you look at the top right picture, for those of you that are interested in architecture and landscape architecture, you will actually get your own studio space that you can use throughout your entire 4 years within the college, which is super cool due to how small the college is as well. There's also a library inside of Bauer Worcester Hall, which is super awesome. It's our environmental design library, and it's open to all students regardless of major. So if you're really interested in like seeing all the over 20 libraries we have on campus, that we will talk about later on the tour as well. The College of Environmental Design Library is personally one of my favorites as well.
Okay, moving on to the College of Chemistry. It has about 1,000 students and only 3 majors. There's chemistry, chemical engineering, and chemical biology. Something important to note is that the chemical engineering major is the only engineering major not in the College of Engineering. That was a lot of engineering in one sentence. But yeah, some really notable alumni have come out of the College of Chemistry and a lot of notable Nobel laureates as well. We'll talk a little bit about her later, but Jennifer Doudna, she's currently faculty for the biology or for the intro biology course, Bio 1A here at Cal, and she won the Nobel in chemistry in 2020 for CRISPR gene editing. The College of Chemistry is also notable because we have the discovery of 16 elements like berkelium, californium, and seaborgium from UC Berkeley researchers. I don't know about y'all, but I personally have never heard of Stanfordium, but all in good fun. They're just like friendly rivals. But yeah, I also think it's kind of fun if you remember from maybe high school chemistry, Lewis dot structures. If you remember like drawing out molecules and things like that, like the lines and the dots that represent the atoms around the elements that you're writing out. That style of like diagramming atoms and molecules and all of that was developed by a professor at UC Berkeley who at the time was teaching Chem 1A or Introductory Chemistry, Professor Lawrence. So some really, really cool things that come out of the College of Chemistry.
And moving on from chemistry, we have our College of Engineering. This is also another one of our founding colleges alongside the Rouser College of Natural Resources. This actually used to be a College of Mining Arts. There was a smaller College of Engineering, but then we had our larger College of Mining Arts with the university. And then from there, they kind of combined together to form the College of Engineering that we know and love today. 9 engineering departments roughly with over I believe, around 11 majors in engineering, which also include electrical engineering and computer science, or EECS, mechanical engineering, bioengineering, civil engineering, aerospace engineering, which is actually the newest engineering major that launched in fall of 2022, industrial engineering and operations research, and so many more different options for students to get involved with engineering, whether that's also not just like an engineering listed here, a form of engineering listed here, but it's also engineering, math, and physics as another option. McLaughlin Hall is the main building for the College of Engineering as well, and also the new engineering center that just opened after being renovated this past semester. And then those of you that are interested in transferring into UC Berkeley, specifically within engineering, we have a special program called T-Prep within the College of Engineering that helps prepare incoming transfer students into the College of Engineering. And that's actually, if you look at the top right, that's actually one of their design challenges that they do during the program, which is a summer program, and it's super fun and exciting.
Okay, awesome. Something cool about the College of Engineering also is that we recently had the Grimes Engineering Center that just opened recently, just in time for Cal Day. So if you're ever on campus, definitely go and check that out. But moving on to our newest college at UC Berkeley in over 50 years, the College of Computing, Data Science, and Society. It's home to 3 majors: computer science, data science, which is my major, and statistics. It's also home to the data science and statistics minors. If you're interested in minoring in computer science, go check out the College of Engineering, because that's what they house. But it's about 1,400 students graduated with a degree in these majors in spring 2023. Of course, at that time, the college hadn't yet been established, but something that's really awesome that happened recently was that data science became the biggest major at UC Berkeley. So a lot of students decide to double major in things like computer science or data science, as well as some other fields, because I think these fields are really intersectional. If you're interested in applying, say, like biology to technology and doing like biotech or anything like that, or maybe you're interested in public policy and seeing how computers and technology affects the way that we interact with other folks and affects our justice system in the United States. So again, these areas are really, really intersectional. A lot of folks decide to minor in these fields or double major or have these as their sole majors. Something really awesome about the College of CDSS, or this college, is that we're really focused on supporting social justice and promoting social justice and the use of ethical and positive technology. So a lot of our courses are focused on the ethics of machine learning and artificial intelligence and all of that. And it's really, really interesting for me as a student coming in to experience this whole new college and whole new community that we have. And you'll see in some of these pictures as well, there's the CS Kickstart program, which I mentioned earlier. I was a part of as an incoming first year in the top left corner, which again is a program that allows women in computer science, data science, and other fields to get introduced to programming and find their own community. And you can see on the top right corner, that is the Gateway, which is currently being built. It's super close to being finished. I walk by it sometimes when I'm going to class or coming back from class. Really beautiful building, and that's sort of going to be the hub for this new college. But yeah, those are all of our undergraduate colleges at Berkeley.
And now moving into a little bit about our Haas School Business. Our Haas School Business is one of 2 graduate schools that offers an undergraduate major that students can directly participate in. The other one is actually the School of Education, which is my other major, our Educational Sciences major. But on the Haas School of Business, they have kind of a couple undergraduate pathways for students. For those of you that are coming from high school and you're a high school senior currently, you can apply directly to the Spiker Haas undergraduate program. That is a full 4-year degree program, and you can apply to that directly on your UC application. Moreover, there is a global management program, or GMP, where you're able to spend if you're admitted into this program, spend your summer studying here at Berkeley, and then your first semester actually studying abroad, I believe in Ghana. Previously used to be in London. We also have MET for those of you that are interested in engineering. Management Entrepreneurship Technology program allows you to do a simultaneous degree between business and engineering. I know in our Q&A, we actually had a question about, can you major across different colleges? And the answer is absolutely. And MET is one of those examples, being 1 degree in our College of Engineering and 1 degree in our School of Business. For continuing students, there is a 2-year business major that you can apply into. Say you're admitted off the UC application for a different major, but decide maybe maybe later on you're interested in business, you can apply into a 2-year business major. LSBE, or Life Sciences Business Entrepreneurship Program, is for business and biology, and students can apply to that after their first year at UC Berkeley. And then for those of you that were admitted into engineering and you decide you're really also interested in business and the intersection of it with social entrepreneurship, you can apply for MET after your first year as well. For transfer students as well, there is a 2-year business major, so you can apply off the UC application and transfer into our business major.
And including our Haas School of Business, we have 9 total graduate schools here at UC Berkeley. And again, the Haas School of Business and the School of Education offer undergraduate programs if you're interested in those. So we have the Haas School of Business, the School of Education, the School of Information, which is housed in South Hall that I mentioned earlier, our oldest building on campus. There's Berkeley Law, the School of Social Welfare, the Herbert Wertheim School of Optometry and Vision Science, which is where I get my prescription for my glasses. The School of Journalism, the School of Public Health, and the School of Public Policy. And again, the aforementioned colleges that we mentioned for specifically undergraduate programs also offer graduate degrees if you're interested. And moving on to housing and dining, I believe.
Yeah, so going into housing and dining, this is really important to know, especially because like a majority of our first year students do live on campus in the university residential halls. This is 96% of our first year students live in the residential halls. And so in the residential halls, you will mainly find doubles and triples. Singles are primarily reserved for upperclassmen, but there are suite style living as well. So say if you're really interested in like the traditional residential hall floor, like all the rooms and communal bathrooms, like that is kind of more commonly the experience that students have. But there's also suite style living, and where there's 2 rooms conjoined together with a bathroom shared between both rooms. There are also theme programs as well with our university. So for students that identify with certain affinity or with certain identities and affinity groups, they can actually live in theme programs that honor those identities. For example, a lot of my friends lived in Casa Magdalena Mora, which is for our Latinx identifying students here on this campus. And we also have a Unity House or Unity Floors, and the Unity Floors are gender inclusive housing for students that identify within the LGBTQ community. Guaranteed housing offers are available for first years and transfer students as well. You'll put your top 4 options on the UC Berkeley housing application. Your 5th and final option should be any room size, any location. If you submit your housing application on time and put that any room size, any location housing option, you are guaranteed housing for your first year for those of you coming out of high school and those of you transferring from another university. Meal plans are included if you live within the residential halls. So if you're within the residential halls, you can get a meal plan that's automatically included as a part of your housing rate. For transfer and continuing students as well, we have a wide variety of options. Helen Diller Anchor House, which is actually the building I currently work in, is our transfer student only, reentry student only apartment building that just opened this past August. Transfer students can also live in the wide variety of university dorms, but also we have several different apartment complexes that are owned by the university. These include Martinez Commons, Channing Bowditch, Panorama Berkeley, Enclave Berkeley, and New Sequoia. Those are all on-campus apartments that continuing and transfer students can live in as well. One thing to note is that with our on-campus apartments, they do not come with the meal plan. You'll have to purchase that separately. So if you live in on-campus apartments, those won't come with the meal plan. But if you live in the university residential halls and dorms, those do come with the meal plan. Campus affiliated housing as well. There's several off-campus affiliated housing. There's also private off-campus housing, and then roughly 11% of our students here on campus are also involved with Greek life, which includes our Pan-Hellenic Council and our Interfraternal Council, and students can live in their chapter houses as well. Regarding dining as well here on campus, as I mentioned, meal plans, you can go to any of the 4 dining halls we have all around the campus. You don't have to live within that residential hall to go to that dining hall, excuse me. And there's also kind of 2 on-campus restaurants that a lot of students like to go to that take the meal plan as well. There's also eateries inside of our Martin Luther King Jr. Student Union building that are also really popular among students. And one other thing I will mention as well regarding our meal plan is that there is an off-campus meal plan. So for those of you that live in the university apartments or live off campus, you can purchase a meal plan for you to use later on. You'll see a lot of the images here are of our dorms as well. Like if you look at the top left, that's unit 1. The top right is actually the Clark Kerr dining hall. It's one of the 4 dining halls. It's absolutely gorgeous. I lived in Clark Kerr my first year, and I do miss that dining hall a lot. I promised myself I would go eat there one last time before I graduate. And then we have what a kind of a unit room looks like. So that is a room probably in unit 1 or 2, and that is kind of what a triple would look like. We also have Bowles Hall. Bowles Hall is one of our examples of affiliated off-campus housing, and they are affiliated with the university but ran by a separate nonprofit. Bowles Hall was actually a residential college that the university opened way back in the 1920s and was the first dormitory for the university, but is now a more residential college that's off campus. If you scan the QR code in the middle, that will also take you to our virtual UC Berkeley housing tour, as we do not offer any in-person housing tours, unfortunately. But if you scan that QR code, it'll take you to our housing website where you can see a much more in-depth overview as well of all of our housing options.
Okay, so moving into health and safety on campus. But right before we start, I think there's going to be a poll as well. So where are you joining us from? And when that poll pops up, feel free to answer. So are you from Northern California like me, Central California, Southern California, or anywhere else in the world or in the United States? Feel free to answer. I know a lot of folks who are maybe like out of state or international, worried about like health and safety for their students on campus. Again, we're going to be covering that in this slide and the next. Okay. And I think we can display those results. So yeah, it seems like about 7 of us are from Northern California, 1 person from Central California. That's great to see. A lot of folks from Southern California, some other folks from other states in the Pacific time zone, 1 person from the Mountain time zone, 3 from Central, 11 from Eastern. I know it's probably pretty late for y'all. And then 4 folks are international. Well, it's really awesome to see the sort of like, again, wide array of folks from different parts of the United States and different parts of the world. No matter what time it is for you, wherever you're joining us from, we're super, super glad that you're here. But again, going over health and safety, every student is automatically enrolled in student health insurance or the student health insurance program, or SHIP. And if you're not interested in getting SHIP, maybe you have your own insurance, you're more than welcome to waive out as well. We offer urgent care, primary care, pharmacy, referrals, counseling and psychological services, and more. So the urgent care, primary care, pharmacy, and referrals, those are all through the Tang Center, which is just across the street from campus. I went there the other day, as I mentioned, to get my eyes checked. As well as pick up some prescriptions from the pharmacy. So again, all of those are available to students on the student health insurance plan. Honestly, I was kind of nervous because it was the first time I was going to the doctor without my mom, but I was super independent and I went by myself, and I'm really proud of myself for doing that. But yeah, we also have counseling and psychological services, as I mentioned, or CAPS. That's available to students regardless of your health insurance plan. So whether you're on the student health insurance or not, whether you have health insurance at all, that's available for all students for short-term counseling. It can be really stressful to be a student, especially come like midterm and final seasons. But UC Berkeley wants to make sure that we're supporting our students, both in terms of academics, but also in terms of emotional and psychological support as well. There's also the Path to Care Center, which leads the efforts to transform our campus into a community that's free of sexual violence, sexual harassment, stalking, etc., through prevention, advocacy, training, and healing, which is what the PATH in Path to Care stands for. As I mentioned earlier, there's also the Optometry Eye Center, so you can get eye exams done through the Herbert Wertheim School of Optometry at the eye clinic there, or you can get them done at the Tang Center. There's also options for stress relief, there's Pause for mental health, and there's Llama-Palooza, which you can see a picture of in the top right corner. That's an event where they bring llamas out to Memorial Glade, which is a really nice grassy area on campus, usually during finals season or our dead week, which is the week before finals. You get to pet llamas, feed them, all of that stuff. Super, super fun. There's also Trooper, who's a really big dog that looks like a polar bear that walks around campus sometimes, and students get to pet him. He's super, super friendly. But I think there we have another slide about health and safety with some safety services.
Yeah, so thanks, Samiksha, for that really great overview on our health services. Now, on the flip side, let's talk about campus safety. So here at our university, we have our UCPD, which is our University of California Police Department. This is common amongst all UC campuses to have an on-campus police department. And so they serve just our campus area and also the surrounding area when emergencies do involve Berkeley students, and they work in conjunction with the City of Berkeley Police Department. Throughout the campus, there's roughly about 100 blue light poles that are these big poles that at the top have a big blue light that illuminate at night. And those are kind of like warning poles. So say, for example, if you ever find yourself in an unsafe situation on campus, you can go up to one of the poles, push the button, and it will connect you with the University of California Police Department. They'll come to your location within like 5 minutes as they're located on campus. We also have Warn Me. Warn Me is a system on campus for all students and parents and guardians. You can actually subscribe to the service as well. And it's an email and text notification system that will warn you in case there's any situations that are going on like on campus or like in your residential hall. For example, my first year here on campus, there was actually a small kitchen fire in the dining hall at Clark Kerr when I lived there, and I got notified of that through Berkeley Warn Me via an email. And they also have a text notification as well that you can like opt in for. And my mom did, and she let me know that there was that kitchen fire before I even knew about it. And I was like, thanks, mom. I'm in class right now. But Warn Me is a really great way to kind of stay connected with all the happenings around campus as well. Say you're walking home late at night too and you don't want to walk alone, there is Safe Walk. Safe Walk is a service that is free for all students on campus. There's a number on the back of your student ID. You'll call it and you'll be met outside by 3 community safety officers who are there in their blue jackets, the bottom left picture, and they are community service officers and they work with all students to make sure that they get to from point A to point B safely. They're also highly trained in conversation, so you'll never be walking alone in silence. Lastly, we have our nighttime safety shuttles. Those are ran by our Bear Transit, which is housed under our Parking and Transportation Department. And our Bear Transit shuttles, there are 4 lines that operate during the day, but our nighttime safety shuttles, there are 2 lines that operate at night till roughly 2, 3 in the morning, same as our Safe Walk service operates until 2, 3 in the morning, usually from dusk until 2, 3 in the morning, 365 days a year. The nighttime safety shuttles go the north and south of Berkeley as well. All lines stop at downtown Berkeley to reach the BART station. So yeah, that's just a little bit about our campus safety.
Okay, and moving on to student resources that we have available for members of our community. We have a lot of resources available for students of varying identities and different communities, whether or not, no matter what you identify with. So we have centers for educational justice and community engagement. We have centers for folks who identify as African American, folks who identify as Asian Pacific American, Chicanx, Latinx, and so many more, including Native American student development resources. So you're able to find a community of folks of similar background who you're able to connect with and get support from as well. We have the Associated Students at the University of California as well. That's sort of like a student council, if you're familiar with that from maybe your high school or anything else, but for the larger university. So all, I believe, like 45,000 students, undergraduate and graduate students. We also have the Transfer Student Center, which is available again for transfer students. Sometimes making that transition from community college to a four-year university can be a bit difficult, but it's nice to have other folks that you can, again, sort of like maybe study with or talk to talk through that process with you. We also have resources for undocumented students. We also offer support and equity through the Disabled Students Program and the Basic Needs Center. This year, we also, I believe, got a new senator that's focused on disabled students' rights. Her name is Disabled Students' Rights. Her name is Jada Yang. She's currently a first year, and I met her recently. But she's super passionate about the issues of disabled students on campus. And so we have, a senator that represents our disabled students as well as the Disabled Students Program. So if you have any accommodations that you require, whether that's for exam taking or anything like that, you can get those through DSP or the Disabled Students Program. The Basic Needs Center helps students with getting things like EBT and other resources. Maybe you need a little bit of food, you're finding it difficult to maybe pay for some of the resources that you need as a student. The Basic Needs Center is there for you. Sometimes I see them tabling and they give out like reusable utensils, metal straws, and all of that stuff, which are really, really helpful, and so many more. So again, UC Berkeley, really big student body, really big community, but we have a bunch of resources available for our students to take advantage of, and find support through other students, other adults and faculty on campus who are there to support you.
And moreover, on student life, here at Berkeley, there is a big community on campus. We have roughly over 1,000 registered student organizations or clubs that students can participate in, which is absolutely awesome. There's also a lot of volunteering opportunities both on and off the campus. I know a lot of my friends are involved with the UC Berkeley Public Service Center, which has multitudes of projects that students can get involved with to give back to the community as well. I know a lot of my friends are involved with alternative breaks, where they spend their spring break going to somewhere else and doing a service project. And one of my friends led one actually to, I believe, one actually to San Diego, to the San Diego Tijuana border, and they were leaving supplies for folks that were crossing the border, which was super cool. We also have campus employment opportunities for a wide variety of students too. So students can get involved like so many different ways with campus employment, volunteering, registered student organizations. Regarding campus employment, we also have our Berkeley Career Engagement Office, and that is actually our on-campus center for all like campus employment, but also for students to find their job like post-Berkeley. They provide free headshots, resume, cover letter editing, you name it, and also career counseling. Since we are in kind of the heart of the Bay Area, being in Berkeley, kind of a more central area of the Bay, there's a lot of internship opportunities for students to get involved with, whether that's in San Francisco or in Silicon Valley as well. A lot of students will also study abroad during their time here at Cal. A lot of my friends studied abroad. That's one of the things personally I regret of not doing within my 4 years was studying abroad. Our moderator today, Jordan, actually studied abroad in Australia. So if you have any questions about studying abroad, definitely ask those during the live Q&A, and he can talk to you all about studying abroad. And also, since we are in the Bay Area, there's just so many different areas to explore, whether that's Golden Gate Park, different areas of Oakland or San Francisco, you name it. Just so the possibilities truly are endless here on campus to get involved with and really find your groove here on campus too.
Okay, and moving on to athletics. This is another area of student life on campus that a lot of students get involved in, both as athletes and as members of the audience or as spectators. So we have three levels of competition. We have Division 1A sports, which is the highest level of collegiate athletics there is. We are part of the Atlantic Coast Conference starting this year. We also have club sports, which is sort of a pay-to-play system. So you pay to be on the UC Berkeley club team, and then you play against other club teams at different universities. There's also intramural or recreational sports. That's a bit more local, so you have a smaller team here at UC Berkeley, then you play against other teams just on campus. A lot of on-campus organizations have their own intramural teams. As I mentioned earlier, I'm part of ANOVA. We have our own like intramural volleyball team, intramural soccer team, and all of that. I've also heard of some folks who play like IM or intramural dodgeball, frisbee golf, spike ball, all of that stuff. So no matter what you're interested in, I'm sure there's something out there for you. Our football team plays at California Memorial Stadium whenever we have home games. You can see our football entrance on the top left picture. We have our basketball team as well, who plays in Haas Pavilion. That's right across the street from Blackwell Hall, which is the residence hall that I live in. So if you're interested in watching football or basketball, you do have to pay for those tickets, but there is a pass at the beginning of the school year that's usually accessible for students. So you get to pay at once for all football tickets, and then you also get to go to the basketball game. So if you're an avid sports fan, definitely check that out. But all other sports are completely free. So if you're interested in like water polo or gymnastics or volleyball or anything like that, those events are completely free for students to attend. We also have the recreational sports facility if you're interested in working out, or again, if you're playing like an intramural sport, sometimes they have like basketball games that go on over there. That's right next to Haas Pavilion. So they have weights, treadmills, all of that stuff. They also have classes if you're interested in like cycling or yoga or anything like that. They have their own classes completely free for students as long as you have your student ID. A really fun fact is that UC Berkeley athletes have won over 240 medals, so 246 to be exact. That's including gold, silver, and bronze, which I think is super awesome.
And a quick overview about kind of shifting away from athletics, a quick overview on libraries and research. As I kind of mentioned earlier, we have over 20 libraries here on campus, which actually total to more than 14 million volumes of literature. And students have their choice to studying whichever one that they want. So if you really like libraries, this is the place for you. The main library is actually Dome Memorial Library, which is the picture on the top left. And the top second floor has like what we call the North Reading Room. It looks like the Hogwarts Library. It's absolutely gorgeous. Regarding research on our campus as well, the main way undergraduates do research is through the Undergraduate Research Apprenticeship Program, or URAP, and that's actually a really great starting point for undergrads to get research experience, and then they can tap into a lot of departmental opportunities. So each department kind of has their own opportunities for students to get involved with research, and What I personally also really like about URAP specifically is that you don't have to be majoring in that department to do research in that department as well. I have friends that major in education and actually do research in our school of public health. So you can do a wide variety of different things when it comes to undergraduate research here on this campus. And again, the possibilities really are endless, and you get really great mentorship from our faculty and graduate students as well.
Hey, and talking about some famous alumni and professors and Nobel laureates and all of that who have been part of the Berkeley community. So I mentioned earlier Jennifer Doudna. She won the 2020 Nobel Prize in Chemistry for CRISPR gene editing, if you're familiar with designer babies and all of that stuff. There's Stephen Chu, who graduated in 1976, who's the former US Secretary of Energy. Chris Pine, if you're familiar with Star Trek and Wonder Woman and all of that, graduated in 2002. Janisha Adams Ginyard, who graduated in 2005. If you've seen Black Panther, she acted in that, and she's an actress and stuntwoman, which is awesome. If you read the Ramona Quimby books when you were younger, Beverly Cleary, she graduated in 1938, and she wrote those books. She's a children's author. If you have an Apple iPhone or a MacBook or anything like that, Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak graduated in 1986. He's the co-founder of Apple Inc. And Alex Morgan in 2014, famous women's soccer player, and she, I believe, is also an Olympic medalist now.
And just closing us off before we transition to the live Q&A, just some highlights of our university. If you love squirrels, we have a ton of squirrels here on this campus. You can scan that QR code actually to learn a little bit more about the Berkeley squirrels. They are a very unique breed of squirrels. So highly recommend checking out all those things about the Berkeley squirrels. They have their own Instagram account as well. Berkeley Squirrels on Instagram if you want to check that out. Campus landscape, though, we are, even though the city of Berkeley is in kind of like an urban environment, there is still a lot of nature kind of within the campus as well, and also the surrounding areas. I personally love to hike. Fire trails are a really great kind of hiking spot and really popular among students. We have Strawberry Creek as well. It's a naturally flowing creek through the south of our campus. They used to grow strawberries in there when we had an agriculture department, but since there's no longer an agriculture department here at Berkeley, there's no more strawberries in the creek. Our campus is also very hilly. There's a lot of hills on campus, which I personally really like, and it really complements the amazing amount of trees and wildlife here on this campus. Other than squirrels, we have peregrine falcons, we've had turkeys, like so many different things, which is so much fun. And again, it is so cool to just really see the city of like the city of Berkeley, but also this really like natural area of Berkeley as well. And our campus borders the Berkeley Hills, which is also so much fun, so that we're able to really get a lot of view of like just the difference between like an urban and a rural environment as well, which I personally really love. And also the Berkeley Marina, which is about a 20-minute bus ride from UC Berkeley's campus, is absolutely gorgeous. There's a ton of shops and restaurants along there too. So again, a lot of different ways to just really see the campus, and the possibilities truly are endless.
Hello, everyone. So we are going to be starting our live Q&A session. Oh, there I am. We'll be starting our live Q&A session, so put all those questions that you have into the chat, and we can answer them live for you all right now. As you think of some questions, one that I always like to ask is, what is something that surprised you about Berkeley? And either whoever's ready can start us off.
I think I can start. So I think like the one thing that really surprised me about Berkeley, and like I like kind of touched about this earlier when we were talking about like the community of Berkeley, which is how welcoming it was. I think that's something that really surprised me, because like me coming in from like my high school and being the only one from my high school to come to Cal, I was like really scared about being able to like make friends, like really find my community on campus. And I think it was my RA, who my residential assistant, who like pointed me in the direction of like a few clubs that she was involved in, and also like our hall council. And I got involved with hall council, and I was like, that's where I met a lot of like really great friends. And like I realized like, Berkeley is a really welcoming environment, and it is like also really diverse. Like I met people from all around the world. Like my closest friend, who actually graduated last semester, is now in Paris. She's working there now because she's originally from Paris and went to school in Singapore. So like there is just a wide variety of students here that come from all walks of life, and they're all super welcoming and inviting to just get to know each other and like really build like a really great sense of community on campus. So I think that's something that really surprised me, was just like how open and accepting people are here on campus, and just the really warm atmosphere that we have here at Berkeley.
Yeah, sort of like relating to what Ethan mentioned, I think the campus community, like, it's so surprising how like close it is. You think like, oh, it's a really big student body. It might be difficult to sort of really connect with people. But once you get involved with like student organizations and stuff like that on campus, it's really awesome to be able to meet all these people from different walks of life. Something that really surprised me was like how many resources there are available for students. When I first came to Berkeley, I was really like scared because I thought it might be really competitive. I might be having to like sort of compete with other students to get access to certain things, especially because of like large class sizes and all of that. I was really worried about like my really large lectures, but then I got to like my discussion sections and I was able to have like more one-on-one conversations with like my graduate student instructors, go to professors' office hours and all of that stuff. And I constantly get emails from like Berkeley Career Engagement and a bunch of other departments on campus that are dedicated to supporting students. And it's really awesome to see the numerous members of like our school and our campus community that are dedicated to supporting other students and supporting like their students, whether they're teaching them or whether they're maybe like underclassmen to them. But yeah, I'll talk a little bit about like me being a tutor for Data 8 as well. Like I didn't realize that was a resource and an opportunity available for students. It's also something that I get paid for. So I'm able to like support other students while like improving my understanding of data science concepts and things like that. But again, like just how welcoming the community is, how willing people are to support one another and uplift each other.
Those are always such great responses. Thank you both for that. One question that we've got in the chat that I really like is, what made you choose Berkeley?
I can go first for this one. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm a first year and I'm originally from the Bay Area, so Berkeley was pretty close to home for me. I'd say that there were maybe like three main things that really drew me to Berkeley. One of them was the data science program. We are actually the #1 university in the country for the data science major and data science studies. So that's one of the biggest reasons why I chose Berkeley, is because we have a great program for students and many opportunities and resources for students studying data science. Aside from that, I think affordability was another big one for me. Being an in-state student, I received a lot of support through the Cal Grant and other resources, and I also receive like I don't have to pay like additional fees as an in-state student as well, living in California. And it's also really easy for me to like commute back home whenever I need to go back home. I don't have to take a flight or anything like that. Another thing that I like was really drawn in by was the awesome balance between like urban and like more or like urban life and urban setting and more of like the naturey side of campus, as Ethan was talking about. I really liked that like there was a big city that was like super close by in the form of Berkeley, as well as like San Francisco, Silicon Valley, and all of that, like proximity to those things and resources available there. But also like the wonderful nature on campus. I love taking pictures of the squirrels. I love going by like the foothill dorms and seeing the turkeys and the deer up there. But yeah, I think those are the three main things. So like the data science program, affordability, and then just like the nice balance between urban life and nature on campus.
This is this is a very, I don't want to say it's like a very interesting question, but it's like a very like, I reflected a lot on this because I'm graduating, and I'm still shocked to say that I like even got into Berkeley, because I didn't have like a traditional pathway compared to like a lot of my peers. Um, I definitely am very open about it. Like I went to school in Chula Vista, California. Chula Vista is about 10 minutes from the border to Tijuana, Mexico. My best friend, she actually crossed the border every day to go to my school, and like during my 4 years, it wasn't really common for people to go to college. Like out of my graduating class of actually about 500 of us, only 100 of us went to college, including myself. And I really didn't think like Berkeley was an option for me, because like I had always heard like, oh, Berkeley's like the best and like it's a really great school, but like, people from our community like don't really go to like schools like these. And I was actually like had one teacher that really did believe that I could do it, and that was like my peer mediation teacher, and like a couple other teachers, but also my mom. And my mom was like a person who really pushed me to go to college, because she's a school teacher herself, and she was always like the one that told me about the power of like getting educated and like becoming an educator as well. And ultimately that like led me to apply to like the UC campuses, and I actually had a fee waiver and I was able to apply to 4 of them for free, including Berkeley, and I gotten into Berkeley, which shocked me. But I think ultimately what made me choose Berkeley was the fact that like this is the university of change makers. This is the university of people that are driven to make a difference in their communities. I think that's something that really strikes me now, even as someone who is leaving the university. I'm finished 4 years here and I'm actually off to go do my master's in the fall, which is super exciting to say. And Berkeley really helped me with getting those opportunities and being able to see myself and making a lasting difference in the community that I want to go and serve. So now I'm proud to say that I'm hopefully going to go make a change to make higher education more accessible for people in my community. That's how Berkeley has inspired me to be a change maker, and ultimately why I chose to be a student here was to become an empowered person to be able to make a lasting difference in my community.
Those are such great reasons for choosing Berkeley. I know, really quickly for me, like one reason I chose here is I always knew about the school and it was somewhere where I saw myself fitting in. And then when I got admitted, I came and visited the campus and I really fell in love with it. Having a pretty campus was really important for me. And so that was kind of one of the final deciding factors for me. One last question that we can answer really quickly that I like is, how would you describe the student culture at Berkeley? Like, how would you describe the overall campus atmosphere and values?
I can take this one first. I think the best way, really reflecting on my 4 years here, the best way I can really say Berkeley's campus is that it is a campus that inspires change and inspires social justice and activism. I think that's one of the best, really core values of our university is the social justice and activism side of things. Like my major is ethnic studies. Like I study this very closely. I study social justice. I study racial justice very closely. But how it actually got started was here at Berkeley, like the Thurber Liberation Front protests, which happened after the free speech movement in the late 1960s and 70s. And then the ethnic studies strike of 1990 helped founded UC Berkeley's Department of Ethnic Studies and the San Francisco State University's Department of Ethnic Studies. That's now even a College of Ethnic Studies. So the activism here on this campus is truly inspiring, and the social justice aspects of our campus is truly inspiring. We walk the same paths that a lot of trailblazers have as well, and now they're still making change in the community. And that's what I personally really love about Berkeley is that everybody here is really driven to making a change in whatever that may be. Like for me, it's within the field of education, but for somebody else, it could be in the field of data science. It could be within the field of business. It could be like in so many different ways. So I think just being a person that is willing to really challenge the status quo of like our society and being able to see kind of the how those things relate to one another, how people relate to one another, and how we can come together and make a lasting difference in the world is probably one of the best core values of our university. And then the campus culture as well. It being super collaborative in nature really does help with that. Like I've met some of my lifelong friends here on campus, and it's all due to like how collaborative even in classes that we are. Like even though there's a lot of independent work in my classes personally, there's still a lot of hands-on group opportunities too. Like I'm working on a research project for one of my higher ed policy classes. Like those are all really great ways to just really get a sense of how collaborative and how uplifting the Berkeley community is.
Yeah, I echo like literally everything that Ethan said. I think just in my first year, I've experienced like so many different events and things like that that have really pushed this idea of Berkeley being a place for change makers, and it makes me like really excited and really honored to like continue my career here. But I'd also say that UC Berkeley is a place, as Ethan mentioned, also for like collaborators and people who are genuinely interested in like learning from one another and constantly want to like just like soak up more knowledge. I've met so many people in my classes and in like even my dorm building and stuff like that who just seem like such like sponges for knowledge and like just want to like just like learn so much both in their classes and outside of them. They're interested in, or like we're all interested in, you know, joining different student organizations that have different values and different passions and get involved in the community in different ways and have different like philanthropic efforts and all of that, as well as like taking classes that maybe don't relate to our major, but that we're just interested in taking. I signed up next semester to take a South Asian art history class. that doesn't relate to my major at all, but I'm like super excited for it because it relates to my background and something that I'm interested in. And there are so many other courses at Berkeley that are like really niche and super specific, but that students really, really enjoy taking because they're interested in learning about these like quirky, interesting things. But yeah, so far at Berkeley, I'd say we're a place for change makers as well as people who are genuinely like passionate about and interested in just like lifetime learning and like not stopping like gaining knowledge, if that sort of makes sense.
Yeah, those were both amazing answers, and I think you both really summed up the Berkeley community and the student body's like values. But with that, we will put the slideshow back on so we can go over our closing. Perfect. So thank you everyone for joining as some closing logistics. If you want to take like a virtual like tour through the campus where a little tour guide will walk you around campus at your own pace, so it's fully virtual, not live, you can go to that UVisit tour, which is at uvisit.com/Berkeley. That's pretty fun. I know I did that when I was choosing Berkeley. Please make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Visit UC Berkeley. That's also our YouTube channel's name. We post a lot of fun content on there. And yeah, it's a great way to stay connected with us. If you have any lingering questions or want to hear from a specific student perspective, email tour@berkeley.edu and one of our student ambassadors will answer your question. If you want to hear more about Berkeley life, student life, you can go to the Bear Talk blog, which is beartalk.berkeley.edu. That is a student-run blog that we put on, and it's got so many different types of blogs, different types of stories. I know I was a writer for a little bit, and I wrote about school spirit. I wrote about my study abroad experience. If you'd like to watch another virtual visit, we have more available on our YouTube channel at Visit UC Berkeley. You'll be able to watch this one again if you're really loving this one, or you could watch another one with different tour guides and different moderators to get a little bit of a different experience. That bottom left QR code is a QR code to the admissions presentation. So if anyone would like to sign up for that admissions presentation, you can scan that QR code or go to admissions.berkeley.edu/visit. And then if you're coming to campus sometime, if you're coming up to Berkeley, we'd love to have you for an in-person campus tour. You can scan that QR code in the right or go to visit.berkeley.edu to sign up for one of those. And with that, we want to say thank you all for joining us today on tonight's virtual campus visit. One of our traditions as a roll goodbye is to do our chant Go Bears. So I'm going to ask Samiksha and Ethan to unmute, and we will do a Go Bears and let everyone go about the rest of their day. All right. 1, 2, 3. Go
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 Bears!
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 Thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your day.